Greetings, listeners. It's Not So Giant Women with Daria and Ivy ready to tackle onion trade. So,
I'm seeing the title. I want to think it has something to do with my favorite jaundiced troll doll person.
Yes, but the real question is, how ready are we for an episode that is potentially about him?
Yeah, do I want to learn more? Do I want the mystery to be shattered? That is assuming the show isn't actually about someone trading actual onions, which you never can be too sure on this one.
I mean, they do get pretty literal, don't they? I guess let's deal with him. Jumping in.
Here we go.
It's been too long.
We'll always say horrible memories.
Oh dear.
Well, that was a weird one.
Yeah, one of your weird day in the life episodes.
Yeah. Hardly any gem stuff until the very end, unless you count, Amethyst sitting outside making fun of Pearl.
Really just humans, mostly Stephen with a bit of his dad and Onion.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if I can recap this.
Yes.
Stephen is distraught for having lost one of his guys, action figures with guys standing for guys under your supervision. He has lost Ranger Guy, whom he finds to be the most important and coolest, and which is also a symbol of a great day he had with his father. He goes to tell said father, Greg, who barely remembers the guy as a symbol of that day, but does remember a cake for which he probably still has the plate. Nonetheless, he gives Stephen a bag of quarters so he can try to replace Ranger Guy. The guys come in these little bubbles from a vending machine, and you basically take your chances as to which one you're going to get. Stephen takes his chances several times over with the bags of quarters, but only ends up with many, many copies, 30 copies, in fact, of Dave Guy, who is not exciting and comes with the accessory of taxes. When he sulks back to the treehouse, Amethyst is still napping outside. She understands that Stephen has had trouble trying to get the little men he wants. Oh, now I need to go back because Stephen tried to exchange Dave Guy with Onion, because Onion, and I don't know how I missed this entire feature of the plot, Onion has a Ranger Guy in his back pocket. We first meet Onion, who appears to be crawling into snack machines and stealing food from within. Stephen tries to trade the excess Dave Guys, all of them, for Onion's Ranger Guy. Onion is not having any of it. He does see Onion trade for a burger of some kind. Stephen is distraught that Onion simply throws the part of the burger into the ocean. But immediately after, who we take to be Onion's dad turns up. They briefly talk in sort of mumble click speak. And after only a few seconds, Onion Dad goes again, and Stephen is, does Onion just wait for his dad all day? And then sees him for a few seconds and then he's gone again. However, Stephen then remembers Ranger Guy and has the trade, which just does not work. With the non-working trade, he then stalks back to the treehouse, tells Amethyst of his problems. Amethyst hands him something she got from Pearl's room, a replicator wand. Replicator wands do pretty much what they say on the tin. You pointed at something, you can make a duplicate of it. Back in town, Onion has the ketchup packets from the burger, throws them in the middle of the road, and drives his scooter that he got a few episodes ago, squashing the sauce all over the road, then simply letting the scooter go where it explodes into a fireball. So this might mean that the occupants of Beach City, gems or no gems, are just used to property damage if this is what Onion does all day. Stephen arrives with the bag of Dave Guys and the replicator, and he tries to up the amount of Dave Guys he's trading. He's very much stuck on the idea that Onion wants more and more Dave Guys. Onion finally points and shows he wants the replicator, and a trade is made, the replicator wand for Ranger Guy. Stephen takes Ranger Guy back to the beach, but is unfulfilled. Were you always this boring, Ranger Guy? He then is hit in the face by a few flying Dave Guy pods. He turns to see the town filling up with Dave Guy after Dave Guy after Dave Guy because Onion is replicating them like no one's business. The gems have to sort this out. Essentially, that the town has been buried under many, many copies of the Dave Guy bubble. Stephen explains that he swapped the replicator for Ranger Guy. Pearl asks why he didn't simply replicate Ranger Guy in the first place, which Stephen now realizes is a much better idea. When Stephen reaches Onion atop the mountains of Dave Pods, he looks at the Ranger Guy figure he had traded and sees his own initials on the feet and realizes that Onion has stolen his own Ranger Guy, therefore making the trade invalid, and he takes back the replicator. This comes as no surprise because Onion is just really a thief. He throws the replicator down and it does nothing because he thought that would be a dramatic end to things. Garnet appears and stomps the replicator into dust, partly because that child shouldn't have access to power and partly because she doesn't want to clean up all the replicator Dave guys, which then poof and disappear. Amethyst realizes this also means the garbage she replicated into Pearl's room earlier will also have disappeared. Stephen nonetheless returns Ranger Guy to Onion, saying that Onion needs Ranger Guy more than Stephen does, as Onion spends his day just trying to stave off boredom waiting for his dad. He also asks if this reminds him of the good relationship Stephen has with his own dad, to which Onion shakes his head that no, it's just the first thing. Greg is proud of Stephen for this, and Stephen says they still have memories, horrible, horrible memories. So there we learned a little about Onion. He has a dad that he waits for all day and sees for just a few seconds, which is kind of sad. But he's still a troublemaker and a thief, so...
Yeah. You know, when I first saw this one, I couldn't believe that I didn't think that maybe Onion was behind the missing toy, considering how many times we've seen him snatch things. I just couldn't believe that I didn't see that coming, even though I saw him in the episode and everything. I saw him wandering around and that he just happens to have this Ranger Guy. Like, why didn't I think? But no, like, I can't believe I didn't catch on to or I didn't see that coming. Because, you know, usually when they telegraph something like that, you'll see it. But nope.
I got halfway there because Stephen said that the Ranger Guy had a miscoloured hat, and he never commented about the Ranger Guy got back not having a miscoloured hat. And I thought, sure, I didn't forget the hat thing, but I didn't finish the thought and go, it's got the same hat because it's the same guy.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Stephen. You know, I guess he's got a pure heart, and he's not going to look at his friend running around town and say, you probably took my stuff, didn't you little thief?
He probably thinks, what a coincidence, there are two miscoloured hats.
Yeah. Although I guess, like, if this is the hot toy right now, then it wouldn't be that surprising that there would be more than one little boy in town who wants them and has them. Especially if you're Onion and you crawl into those machines so easily. Maybe he was in there taking the ones he wanted. Maybe that was Stephen's theory.
Well, maybe that's why it's full of Dave guys, because Onion took all the good ones.
Yep, and just left behind a bunch of taxes. Now, I have no idea who Dave Guy is supposed to be. It really seems like it's got to be a reference to something, someone they know, or, I mean, especially with all that stuff with maybe you'll get a cool internship and stuff. I'm like, this has got to be a person, but I have no idea who it is. I've never heard a definitive answer to it.
No, but it does come across as if Dave is like someone they know, or, you know, someone's cousin, or maybe they're just mad of overly specific references and just thought they were getting funnier every time.
Maybe, yeah. His haircut's gross. He smells bad. Poor Dave Guy. But, you know, if he doesn't have anything fun to play with besides taxes, I can imagine that he's not a popular guy.
I was a little surprised that as soon as our heroes walked off, that Onion just didn't do something wild and destroy Ranger Guy, because he's got some pretty wanton habits. Having stole tickets to get a scooter to squish a bunch of ketchup packets with to just destroy the scooter and leave a building on fire.
Yeah, that escalated very quickly. It's like we saw several pieces of the puzzle as to how he got this thing, and then it turns out all he wants to do is ride over ketchup packets, maybe pretending they're blood, and cause an explosion, just set stuff on fire. Onion is just pure distilled chaos.
He's all, in the more classical sense, he's all immediate carnal desires. He wants to blow things up. He wants to throw things away. He wants to steal things.
Mm-hmm. Not big on food, though, is he? He threw the whole burger in the ocean.
No.
The ketchup.
Even the tomatoes, as Stephen pointed out.
Yeah, indeed. You know, the first time I saw this, when he was throwing the food out there and then the ship started coming, I was like, is this some kind of signal? But
I, too, wondered that. Is his dad following a burger part trail? Is that how he knows when his son's there and he can say hi to him or say "mom" for a few seconds?
that's a very good impression.
Vaguely
sound enough
reminds,
like Onion?
a good one too. But it vaguely reminds me of when they used to have the off-screen adults in Charlie Brown cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. Yeah. Huh. Except that it's the dad and the kid, so it's some kind of language between them.
It's their native dialect. I don't know if it's supposed to not be a language or if it is a language and Stephen just doesn't understand that words he doesn't recognize might still be words.
Yeah, it seemed like they were conversing. So I gotta say, I really feel Steven on those gumball machine toys, trying to get the one you want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been there. That's kind of why I've put a block on myself getting too many blind pack things because, well, I started to accumulate the equivalent of many, many Dave guys.
Right. Yeah. Specifically with Steven Universe mystery bag items, I've been in this kind of similar situation. Actually, I think I showed you the backpack hangers a few weeks back, and those were mystery items, and nobody was selling them except for just like one place. I couldn't find them anywhere, so it seemed like nobody else was around to trade Dave guys with me. So I had 5 of Steven with his shield, and I couldn't find the one of Steven giving a peace sign, and I'm like, where's my peace, Steven? I won't have peace until I have peace, Steven. And of course I eventually got him like the 4th time I ordered a shipment of them, and by that point I had 2 of everybody except for the rare Tiger Millionaire one, and I had like 3 amethysts, 5 of the shield one. I had like 5 lions. I don't know, but I was able to sell some of them on eBay, which was nice, and I gave some of them away to friends who like those specific characters. But and then I was kind of irrationally angry when one of my favorite retailers started selling them already open, so you knew what you bought, and I'm like, why couldn't you have done this like 2 months ago?
Yeah, but mine was blind packed little Transformer figurines, not dissimilar to the backpack hangers. And this was back when, because they were imported from Japan, which also meant they were kind of pricey. But this was back when the West didn't really do blind packed things. So I kept getting duplicates. I think the manager of the shop I used to most go to took some pity on me and saw what I was doing. Said, look, I'll let you just peek inside packet. It's not like you haven't given us enough money.
And people sometimes develop theories and techniques for how to, feel the package and figure out who it is inside. Or I remember that this was when I worked at a bookstore. We for some reason sold Pokemon cards. People had it in their heads that the ones that had a special foil card would weigh a little bit more, and they'd bring their gram counters in.
Oh man.
Weigh this stuff at the register. I don't even know if it was true. It may have been true, but they're just sitting there weighing all the cards. And I'm like, buddy, you can't do that. Like, you're at my register, but you want to get your thing. So, and I guess back in those days, there wasn't really a lot of eBay going on. There was some though.
And in fact, nowadays, I have a parallel end to the story because after I'd finally weaned myself off these things, the American companies wanted to start selling the same toys, which was fine. But because mystery packs weren't so much a thing, they just sold them in transparent bubbles so you could see which one each time, and they were half as much.
Yeah.
They always get us hardcore fans worse.
Yeah. I guess it's good that they do away with the mystery so that people can get what they want. But, this is their way of trying to sell toys, and they've got us pegged. And not all of us have a Greg who has just a literal bag of quarters sitting in the back of his van. That was nice of him, wasn't it? Just give him this bag of quarters.
Yeah, and the first reference to a calendar date in Greg's van. There were 2000 to 2001 car manuals.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that has anything to do with his van or not, because I would think that van's a lot older than that.
Yeah, I thought about that and thought, I wouldn't rule out Greg just randomly having car manuals for some reason.
Oh, sure. And, even though he's not in the car repair business, he is in the car washing business. So maybe he inherited them somehow.
Or maybe just likes reading car manuals. Who knows?
Could be.
Jumping way back, because we're on a tangent about noticing things, because I've been doing the edits for the Together Breakfast episode and rewatched to grab some sound grabs, I noticed a thing about Garnet opening the door to her room or her cave, or however you want to see it. I hadn't noticed the first time round, but she uses both her gems in two of the little socket receptor gems.
Mhm.
Everyone else just uses one gem to one other gem. So
Yep.
she is not only the only one of two gems, but that she's using two sockets, one red, one blue. This is interesting information I do not know what to do with.
Yeah. Well, I guess she's got double gems. She's got double keys.
Yeah. Make sure the room's locked
But,
up nice and tight. Don't want any of the others getting in there.
Yeah. There is, I mean, without being too spoilery, there is some speculation about that seems to be an important room, the basement, because I mean, she's going there to burn stuff and there's, some important stuff in there. It's like, is that her room or is that it's the basement? It's like, and I mean, we don't see her go into any other room. It seems to open like it's her room, just like everybody else's opens with their key. But, believe it or not, some people are still arguing about that. So.
Well, if it is like the important rooms, then it could be that you need two gems, like the double keys, or at least in the movies, when they want to launch nuclear weapons, they have to turn two keys at once.
Yeah. Well, again, not to be too specific, but there are more things in the future that will show you more about how the combinations work on the door. So, but that is funny that now we're just talking about Together Breakfast in the middle of Onion Trade. We didn't get much Garnet this time, speaking of her.
No, she just quite sensibly told us that the child should not be allowed that power, whether she means a child in general or specifically she knows Onion. Either interpretation seems pretty valid. Well,
yeah.
Onion's had it for like 10 minutes and already flooded the town with tiny action figure pods. So I think she's not unreasonable in concluding that.
A child should not be in possession of such an item. It's like, oh, you've just said something extremely obvious, Garnet. It's like, are you saying that because you think other people haven't noticed this? It's really obvious to you and you think other people can't tell?
Maybe sometimes she just has to say stuff to feel it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, since we're flashing back here, like in Cheeseburger Backpack, and she's just like, I'm sensing structural instability and the place is cracking. It's like, oh, really, Garnet? You think? She's funny. I was very impressed when Onion started chucking cars at her and she pushes Pearl down and she starts catching the cars and standing there while they hit her. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah, I loved when she was deflecting the stream of Dave guys with her Hulk hands. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Gauntlets do a good job. Yeah, I enjoy Garnet, and I don't enjoy it so much when they don't give me enough of her.
I guess they get a lot of flavor out of Amethyst and Pearl bickering.
Yeah, it is entertaining. I'll give them that. And I also thought it was funny that at the end she just stomps on the wand thing and says, like, I'm not cleaning up this mess. She just doesn't want to do things. She doesn't want to do anything if she doesn't have to. She's just like, I'm finished fighting what amounts to this week's monster. I'm done. I'm not cleaning up junk.
Yeah, it's 4:55. I'm not doing overtime.
Yeah. It did make me think, though, when all the stuff started to disappear, does that mean over however many decades or centuries they've been using this thing? Does that mean everything they've ever replicated is now gone? I mean, what if you built a bridge with that thing or something? Like, ooh.
Yeah. And it didn't seem too hard to destroy. I mean,
she just
granted she's got gem strength, but she just stepped on it.
Right. Yeah. That concerns me a little whenever there's something like that in a magical story. Not to do too much digressing, but that's one of the reasons that I didn't really get the ending of Tangled, the Disney Rapunzel story. And I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen it?
No, but I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, not a big fan. I don't want to bag on it too much, but there's she has magical like healing hair. You can use it to rejuvenate yourself, and somebody's been using it to make themselves younger again and stuff. And I'm just thinking all the times that anybody's used that power to heal anything. Does that mean it just comes apart when at the end she's her hair is cut or whatever? I don't even remember, to be honest, but I think that's what happens. And then everything that she did is undone. And I'm like, does that mean that the wounds you healed like years ago are all open again? That's really gross.
Yeah, and
So
if you use it to replicate food or something, does that mean you retroactively starve?
right, yeah. So you'd want to be really careful if you're Garnet and you're you're stomping on this thing. I don't know. I mean, for all I know, it was just Pearl making a lot of swords in her room, or Amethyst making more junk. But I guess since we didn't hear about any catastrophes, we can just assume nothing bad happened.
Yeah, if we didn't get back and find out that they'd used it for the pillars that hold up the treehouse or anything.
Oh my goodness. The whole thing just collapses and no one knows why. I think it's really funny that Pearl said, like, why didn't you just replicate Ranger Guy? That was great. And he goes, dang it.
Saying probably what half the audience is thinking too.
Yeah. I've seen some like reaction video type things, and a lot of people will say that just replicate the toy you want. Just replicate that. They probably would have been just happy and gone about their lives. He could have even replicated him some more ketchup packets, maybe.
Yeah.
Could run over him all day.
Does kind of show Onion being a very much immediate satisfaction kind of person, because he just replicates Dave Guys all over the place. I mean, if you're thinking ahead with that, you could replicate, a bunch of money and buy whatever you wanted or anything like that. But he's like, no, loads and loads of little figure pods.
Yeah.
And in fact, doesn't really replicate anything besides the figure pods.
Yep, just that and the brief flirtation with throwing cars.
Oh, yes, of course.
But he figured out that he could do that. So he could have been, he could have figured that out earlier. But I don't know.
No delayed gratification.
He just wants to cause problems and sow chaos.
Well, he apparently has no parental guardian supervision apart from like 5 seconds each day.
Yeah, and his dad clearly does not see that side of him. He's just a sweet little son sitting on the dock. Maybe he knows everything and he's very proud of his chaotic son. Who knows?
Well, that's why he only sees him for a few seconds every day. He's like, I'm going to get out of here before he sets fire to my boat or something.
Or takes a harpoon gun to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could ask him, but he'd probably just say, Let's see. Other weird things I liked in the episode was Onion's creepy face when he was trying to get the Dave guy or the replicator, and he just makes this face that's like just demonic, and the fire's behind him, and you hear the sirens, and it's like, oh my goodness, what is this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah, the couple of times when he went outside his usual limited facial range, like that, and when he got caught out as having Stephen's Ranger Guy.
He kind of looks to the side like he's guilty. It's like, oh, your face can do that? Yeah. I also liked the bits with Greg. I love when Greg shows up. It's funny when he pops out of the mountain of Dave Guys and he goes, oh my gosh, I just wanted some ice cream. And Amethyst's like, hey, Gregory.
Oh,
Doing
yeah.
her thing.
And I like that he and Stephen both remember that great day they had, but they took, literally in this case, different things from it. Stephen remembers it as the time he got the Ranger Guy, Greg as the time he got this cake.
Yeah,
And
funnel
sliced the
cake.
plate. Yeah, funnel cake.
I do not like funnel cake. I know that I should be fired from America for not liking funnel cake, but everybody I know likes it, and I think it's disgusting.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
It's like a fair food, very popular at fairs around where I live, and it's really just like batter that's dropped into hot oil, and it to me it doesn't taste good. And I think most places they dust it with powdered sugar, but it's just I'll get sick if I eat it.
It
not
sounds
good.
incredibly, I don't know, strong, rich, something.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's just batter and it's fried. And I don't know. I can't do deep fried stuff very well, though. I can't handle it. I'm weak.
A few things I like, but something that's sort of just solid batter for start with.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that because I don't know the recipe or anything, but I think it's just it's like a pretty runny batter that they use a funnel to distribute it, and they kind of dribble it onto a plate or something. I don't know. I don't even know how it's made. Oh my God. So I'm probably going to get corrected in the comments, but yeah, it's not my favorite thing. And of course, Greg likes it and kept plate. Ugh. We know what kind of person you are, Greg Universe. What about when he said, I lost something precious? Your innocence? All right, Greg, calm down.
Yeah, there's something of an A to B there, Gregory.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And I'm sure a lot of the adults who watch the show enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was a part of me going, are they alluding to what whoop, that's as close as they're going to say.
Yeah. While we were watching it, I was trying to think of any kind of probing question I could ask you. I didn't come up with much, but I was kind of thinking earlier when I said that Onion is what passes for the monster of the week. I was wondering if they kind of didn't use their usual techniques because they'd be fighting a little boy. Like you can't just like punch that or, use a whip and fling him into the sun, I mean, you can't do that. He's a kid. So I don't know. I guess that's the closest I have to like a probing question. Like, do you think that might be why they didn't have much strategy there when they are worried about hurting the subject?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I can imagine Amethyst having to be told she can't just fling him into the sun.
Yeah. She didn't even try to fight him. She just kind of got lost in the pile.
Yeah, well, that might have been. I think she might just not have got near him for all the piles of bubbles and pods and things.
I mean, it could have been just cartoon logic, but I mean, she could have turned into a bird and flown out of there or used her whip to do something if she maybe hadn't been thinking, I could hurt this kid. I don't know. I wonder.
I imagine if it were a far more serious problem that he were presenting, I can imagine Pearl being the most resistant to the harming a small child thing.
Yeah, she did speak up in Tiger Millionaire about how she didn't want Amethyst to use her gem powers on humans while she was wrestling. So I think you're right.
And she appears to at least appreciate the difference between children and adults.
Yeah. But, I don't know about Garnet. Violence is the answer.
Yeah, I think if it were a serious enough threat, Garnet wouldn't like the idea of harming a child, but would be prepared to do it if that's what they have to do.
Yeah, I'm going to guess so. So far, I don't think we've really seen them fight anything that they couldn't just murder.
Yeah, well, most of them have been basically animals.
Mm-hmm. Either that or just little sections where they fought each other, kind of.
Yeah.
Like in the wrestling.
Well, that was an even lower stakes fight because that was really them having a spat. There certainly wasn't a town full of plastic toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Garnet was just going to be like, we're finishing this and we're going to go home. Yeah. I guess, except for the ridiculous amounts of plastic and the possibility of a Dave Guy avalanche, there wasn't a lot of danger there. It's probably just another day in Beach City at that point.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is small potatoes to these people who are just used to monsters smashing through their businesses or debris falling on their houses.
Yeah, I would agree. They probably just looked outside and they're like, ugh, it's cloudy with a chance of Dave Guys. So we don't have any music except for
just the score this time.
Yeah, just some pretty cute music behind the Mega Man opening where he's looking at his different guys under your supervision, and he's explaining it. There's some kind of cute music there.
Yeah, I like the faux commercial.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Stephen's shown before he will speak in commercials sometimes.
Yeah. And that I love that about the way that they write him because he's clearly influenced by media. And, I don't know any kids who don't repeat stuff they've seen on TV and repeat the jingles and all that stuff. So it makes sense. Somebody doesn't even know what guys are. He's ready to launch into the advertisement.
Also a bit incredulous that someone can not know what guys are.
Yeah.
Guys?
Yeah. It's just like, So cute. So no songs to discuss and enjoy. Relatively recently, I did replicate Suitcase Sam's lunch.
I thought that might be where we're going.
It's just a burger, and I just had a little bit of fun with the ketchup packets. That's actually got a bit of trivia attached to it because they're Heinz is the famous brand that you see on the tomato packets, but they had Hynes, which it's a different spelling, but that's the name of someone who works on the show, Danny Hines. So I think it was they're referencing him.
Double reference.
Yeah, I am not sure. He might be the art director or something, but I might be wrong about that. Who Danny Hines is. But let's see. Trying to think if there's any fun trivia to this. This was another Lamar Abrams episode, by the way, which is probably why it's really weird and it's about Onion. He really seems to like to put Onion in stuff when he gets to do stuff. And he just did this one all by himself. He's the only credited storyboarder. So what a weirdo.
So he just filled it with Onion, of course.
Mm-hmm. So, when I did the Suitcase Sam lunch, I even made a little paper sack to look like I go overboard sometimes. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Obviously, there was a DuckTales reference.
Yeah.
The rich duck. So, and Amethyst didn't get it. She doesn't watch DuckTales. I didn't watch DuckTales.
I watched it a bit, but I had read the comics they're based on since I was a tiny little thing. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but I did know enough about it that I caught that a rich duck. What does that mean? Let's see. Where's my little window? Okay, I wrote down what they describe. A toy trade between Steven and Onion escalates to epic proportions. That's not too bad, huh?
Yeah.
That wouldn't tell you too much.
Yeah, at least you're hanging enough. Makes you go, what's epic proportions when it comes to a toy trade and Steven Universe, both the character and the program.
Yep. The only other thing I can think of that's kind of trivia-esque is that Steven's voice actor, Zach Callison, did the voice for Onion's little mama, mama, mama. And then the voice actor, Tom Sharpling, who does Greg, did Onion's dad's mama, mama, mama. So that's like a little parallel there that the father and son was also the father and son. I thought that was cute.
Kind of makes me wonder if the actors weren't just screwing around and someone said, oh, let's put that in the show.
Like, how do you write that down? It's like, all right, we need you to voice this raincoat dad, and it sounds like a Peanuts character.
And you have to sound like the same thing, only younger.
Right. I like the idea that if they had Onion's dad show up and they didn't have Greg on the show, they'd still have to get his voice actor to come in just to mumble. I'm not remembering off the top of my head if that has ever happened.
Those they are indeed related to Sour Cream. Sour Cream could speak English or speak.
Yeah, he does speak regular words.
So put a pin in that one, or maybe that's just how Onion and Onion Dad talk to each other.
Could be. So, do you want to see my merch?
Let's see it.
Let's see if this will work. I stacked it up next to me, and I have to move my camera to show you. Okay, can you see this?
You're coming into view now.
Oh, okay. I have tiny figurines, and Onion is in the front.
Hey!
Ta-da! Onion. And also, he's kind of rare, not like Dave Guy, like guy. So there's some other guys like behind them, guys, but there's a huge amount of these were also mystery bag items. So I thought they'd be really appropriate for this episode's merch, but I'm not showing you all of them.
They're pretty cute, yeah.
There's even a big old lion, and he comes in. There's two of these that look the same, but one's glow in the dark. So.
The lion one is very cute.
Here's a Connie. Whoop.
Hey, Connie. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, she has the little boots and stuff that she was wearing when we met her.
She's got properly made glasses, too. They're not just drawn on her head.
Yeah, and here's Greg. Ta-da!
Yeah. Oh, he's happy about
Armatan and everything. He's so cute. I'm glad that they did the humans, which I guess includes Onion. There's Pearl.
Yeah. Pearl's got a much rounder head in this rendition.
He has no nose. It's such a travesty.
Yeah. That's one of her most defining characteristics.
Agreed. Now, Lion gets a nose, but nobody else gets a nose. So, and there's a bunch of Steves in there too. But I may be able to show you more of those as time goes on, but I didn't want to drag them all out, and also a few of them are spoilery, so.
Of course.
But that was some of the ones that I had. Yeah, they're made by Funko, and they're called Mystery Minis. So I think they're a lot cuter than Funko Pops. And,
I say that. That's another thing I resist the temptation of just filling my flat with Funko Pops.
Yeah, I have definitely succumbed on a few of my favorite characters, including, of course, Steven Universe, but also a few others. And I just really like them.
Yeah, I've got a few. I use one as a tree topper for Christmas each year.
Really? A different one each year, or the same one?
A different one each year. This year, I can't turn the computer to see it because it'll pull out the cord. But this year, it's Batwoman is the tree topper.
Oh, that's great. And it's a Funko Pop.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Batwoman. That's cool. Yeah, my tree is a tiny little tabletop Yule tree, and it just has like a broom on it or something. Got some little stars and brooms. Also, there's a dreidel near it because I am Jewish and
makes sense.
Sort of pagan, and all kinds of stuff.
You have a multicultural tree.
Yeah, is what it is. But I never thought of putting one of the toys as a tree topper. I do have a couple of toys on there, but they were given to me as ornaments. So I have a little Marvin the Martian. That was back when I used to work at the Warner Brothers chat room. I was a host in a chat room when I was in college.
Cool.
I've always been into cartoons.
I found that the character key rings make good ornaments.
Oh, there you go. Ooh, I want to show you one other cool Easter egg about these. Look
Yeah.
at Steven's hair.
Oh, yeah. I
See
see.
it?
Yeah.
It looks like a rose.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, it's a reference to your mommy. It's so cute. So it is really funny that Onion was the rare one. Like, I think he's like the rarest one in the series too. He was like 1 in every 30 or something. I'm probably wrong, but it was weird because Onion is not really like a fan favorite character, but you try to sell him online like it's a rare item, but not enough people like him that it's old. So
Yes,
I
not
know.
everyone shares my weird fascination with him.
So I think I still have an extra Onion. I wasn't able to find anyone who was looking for him. That's sad. So, but I definitely got my share of extra mystery minis for this series. Some of them I was able to trade for other ones I didn't have. But for the most part, I just have a lot of extra little guys. Some of them are near my work computer. They fall over every time the janitorial staff comes in and cleans too enthusiastically, and I find them all lying around.
Yeah, my desk bots are the same. Well, so often it's my own clumsiness that knocks them over.
Yeah. So, episode about toys and then discussion of real toys. That brings us full circle, doesn't it? Oh, anything else you want to discuss about this toy-heavy episode?
It really just deepened the mystery of Onion for me. I think unless they have an episode where someone sits down and lectures me on this strange little boy, that I'm just going to be fascinated every time he appears.
Yeah, all the things you didn't know you needed to know, but needed to know.
I guess
All
that's
right.
one upside of them doing the short episodes. You can focus on who are ultimately very minor characters for an episode.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. And to be honest, the episodes about characters like Onion or characters like Petey or characters that are kind of background human characters, they tend to be less well received by the fandom because people just want to see the science fiction characters and they're much more interested in the gems. But I feel like, I mean, even at this point in the series, up to episode 15, I feel like it just wouldn't be the same kind of story without some understanding of the whole human side of his life and how it intersects with the magic stuff. I think it's really important.
Well, the last episode didn't wow us.
Mm-hmm. Even though there was magic moss in it, it was still mostly a human episode.
Same this one, because really you got the magic replicator, but still it's ultimately about these two kids trading toys with each other.
Yes. Yeah. And it definitely taught us what to expect from Onion. Like, he's not afraid to experiment with gem stuff if he gets his hands on it. So keep it away from him if you want to live.
What if everyone feels sorry for him and that's how he gets away with taking lunches and stealing tickets and breaking into machines?
I'm not sure. Could be that, he's just very insistent and very single-minded. And he knows what he wants and he's not going to leave unless he gets it.
Yeah.
So he definitely didn't want a suitcase. He wanted that lunch.
Yeah, that was bargaining for it. Does he have like a protection racket on the suitcase guy?
Oh my goodness. I would love if that was like a secret background truth. One of the...
Is he like a crime boss while his dad's away?
Imagine like one of the crew people listens to our podcast and they're like, finally someone unearthed the secret conspiracy behind the crime racket in Beach City. It's Onion.
There's all these epically horrid things going on and we're just distracted by space rock people.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've said enough.
As have I. It's like my next Onion fix.
Bye, everyone.
Night all.
You've been listening to Ivy and Daria on Not So Giant Women.
You can find episodes of the show in video form by looking up Not So Giant Women on YouTube.
Or in audio form at anchor.fm/NotSoGiantWomen or your podcatcher of choice. You can also find us on Facebook.
Audio production by Daria.
Video production and music by Ivy.
Daria can also be heard on Podsploitation, the Ozploitation podcast.
And Ivy at her Steven Universe fan blog at love-takes-work.tumblr.com.
Steven Universe was created by Rebecca Sugar and remains property of Cartoon Network.
No infringement is intended.